Hello, everybody. It's TJ once again, back with a yet another ranking. Today, I'm gonna do a bit of a shorter discography. It's Steely Dan. Steely Dan is one of my top 10 favorite bands ever, actually, to be honest with you. They have a pretty unique discography in that they don't really have a bad album, so to speak. They have albums that I like more than others, but just like with the Cure ranking, there is at least one or two songs that I pretty like enjoy quite a bit, and that's enough to keep me from saying like this discography is like complete garbage. So yeah, Steely Dan formed the early 70s, band ended early 80s, came back again for a reunion, two reunion albums in the early 2000s. They haven't really done anything else since then, though. I think they've performed here and there, but since the passing of Walter Becker, they haven't seen the light of day again. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Walter. Actually, it's a good thing that they haven't gotten back since his passing, because I don't think it would be the same without Walter, to be honest, because he's a pretty damn good instrumentalist. So yeah, 9 albums, pretty short discography, pretty cohesive discography, especially that running in the 70s, 80s. I think I should just be quiet and go on, and yeah, let's just get started. And of course, at the bottom, it was pretty easy actually. It's gonna be their last album, Everything Must Go. Everything Must Go was pretty much the last gasp of Steely Dan. There's a few songs I genuinely do enjoy. I love the song God Whacker. I love the title track. I really love the song Slang of Ages. That is a pretty darn good song. Other than that, there's not a lot to say. This is a band slash duo. Kind of they just want to go and like get out of there as quick as possible. I don't think they really wanted to do this anymore. I mean, I understand being in a band like decades at this point, and you just want to get back to your soul career or whatever. I wasn't there when behind the scenes, of course, so I don't know what they were actually feeling, but it feels like they just wanted to get this over and done with. They sound like they're not having too much fun with this album. They just want to get it over with. So yeah, it kind of depreciates it. They just kind of sound like they're just done. So yeah, that's why it's this low on my list, and it also has to do with the fact that there's not a lot of songs besides God Whacker, besides Sling of Ages, and the title track that really stick with me. I love Whacker quite a bit. I love Sling of Ages a lot. I don't come back to the title track, but I do admit it's a really good song, and that song being the last they've done, I can't really complain about it. It's a good swan song, so to speak. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Everything Must Go. So, yeah, let's move on, I guess. Next up on our list, we have Two Against Nature from 2000. This was their first of the two reunion albums that came out in the 2000s. And I like this one quite a bit more, Everything Must Go. If not for West of Hollywood alone, which is an amazing song this late in their career. That's in my top 10 songs for sure by Steely Dan. That is such a jazzy number, an extended number. That's their longest song too, I believe, just above 8 minutes. That song, Gaslighting Abbey, the title track, Jack of Speed, and those are all really good songs, especially West of Hollywood. Like I said, there's actually not too much wrong with this album, which is interesting. I think the only like nitpick I have is that it is kind of long. I think this is their longest album at 50, oh, just above 50 minutes. And there's not all the songs stick with me personally. There's probably some good hidden nuggets in here that maybe I'll get back to. Other than that, there's not a lot to say about this album other than like West of Hollywood, Gaslighting Abbey, all those really good songs, which I think this album got their first Grammy Award, which good for them. And I think that's their only Grammy. I'm glad that they earned a Grammy at least, because they really do deserve it for all the things they do. I think this is their last time they ever had like a really big production lineup, because they've had a lot of like big like backing bands. I think this is the last time they ever done that I don't think there was a big backing band thing on the album after this, because I think it was just the two of them and like a few other guys. But other than that, this album, it's fine. I wouldn't come back to it, but I wouldn't really skip it either. If you ever want to like listen to Steely Dan, I wouldn't skip this album at all, because it actually really is like very good. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Two Against Nature. I say let's move on. This next one, while kind of hurts to put this low, it really has a few flaws. Okay, Gaucho from 1980. This was their last album before they split for the first time. This is like the first album on this list where I can genuinely say the rest of these albums are really, really, really damn good. I could say, well, Gaucho is a damn good album. It's got Babylon Sisters, has Hey 19, Glamour Profession, Time Out of Mind, Third World Man. Those songs alone, you can't go wrong with that. Time Out of Mind, especially. Mark Knopfler as lead guitarist. Mark Knopfler, of course, being from Dire Straits. They use him to his full potential on that song. Like, they don't even use him as a gimmick, which that was the issue I've had like with a lot of like additions to musicians beforehand. For instance, on like the REM song Outsiders, where they've added Q-Tip and they didn't really use him to his full potential, in my opinion. Mark Knopfler is really used to his full potential. He gets almost full creative control with that lead guitar. Also, this is, I think, most expensive album. There's like a whole bunch of musicians on this, all of which get their say. I think, unlike the previous album, which we will get to, everyone knows what the album is anyway, this one is a little bit overproduced. I will be the first to admit this album is actually a little bit overproduced. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen at times, and I will say the first side is far superior to the second side. Like, I wasn't really a fan of the song My Rival. It's not like a bad song. It doesn't stick with me though. Like Time Out of Mind sticks with me, or like Glamour Profession, or Third World Man. By the way, this album is top heavy. Like side A is far, far, far superior to the second side. And that is usually a big issue when it comes to these kind of albums. Is when if you have all your hits on the first half of the album, I know Time Out of Mind was a pretty big hit for them, but like Hey 19, Babylon Sisters, both were big hits for them. I know Hey 19 was a huge hit for them. I heard that on the radio the other day, actually. That is the detriment, because you're expecting the good songs are on side A, and when you listen to side B, you just feel like you want more. So yeah, that's how I feel about Gaucho. I really do wish I liked this album more though. Besides all that, I think I have my gripes with it, but it's not that bad. It could probably rise higher a little bit, but for now, this is where it is. Now we got their debut album from 1972. The debut is much different from a lot of the things they do later, mostly because it's simple in that it's a band rather than a duo, adding like a backing band like many other musicians. Their first few albums were like that, and rather than it being a little confusing like that. All those other albums, besides like a few moments here and there, this album doesn't have Donald Fagen as main lead singer. A lot of the other members have singing parts. Walter Becker sings some of them, and he sung before, like on, I believe he sang on Everything Must Go. I don't remember which song it was. I think it was Slang of Ages. Yeah, he's an underrated singer. David Palmer is a really good singer too. Like Dirty Work is a really good song, and of course, I not to mention the two big hits off. Dirty Work was a hit, but I'm talking about Do It Again and Reeling in the Years. I was never a fan of Reeling in the Years. I think it had to do with it being a little overplayed. I still do really like Do It Again though. I think that one wasn't played as much in my area in comparison to Reeling in the Years. I'm not quite sure why that was. It really has to do with Reeling in the Years being a little overrated. But we have a few other songs like Dirty Work, Midnight Cruiser, Turn That Heartbeat Over Again, Change of the Guard is an okay song. I know maybe there's a few people that might not like that song, but I think it's a fine, alright song. But what brings it down is that it's their debut. Like, they had stuff to come from here on, and they've done a lot better. I genuinely believe that they have done a lot better. There's not much to say about this album. It's a pretty simple rock album in that sense. It's not anything special. We have now moved on to our top 5 checkpoint, baby. If you have made it this far into the video, and here I've heard me ramble on and on about my favorite band, well, bands, and stuff, please do leave a like and comment down your own ranking in the comments. And please sub if you want to see more rankings, because I'm gonna be doing more for sure. I mean, I've already made 3 beforehand, and I had fun making those. Also, I'm gonna have someone else edit this video for me this time around. This is the first time I'm doing it. I'll let them say hi right here, because where I'm putting the albums. I'm gonna have them put the albums here, and here they can say their name if they would like to credit themselves. Say hi, editor. Yeah, once again, sub, like, comment, whatever you want. You don't if you don't like the video, then you can leave a hate comment if you want, I guess. I mean, I'll just evidently ignore it, but still, if you want to leave it, go ahead. Anyway, top 5. Let's move on. Number 5 is Katie Lied, and this is their 4th album, I think. Yeah, I believe so. This is a transitional album for sure. They're becoming more of the duo in the late 70s, and they're trying to do more backing band stuff. There's not a lot here, but it sure is evident that that's the way they'll be doing stuff around. And this album isn't that well loved, and I feel like that kind of sucks, because it's got really good songs. It's got Dr. Wu, Bad Sneakers, Your Gold Teeth 2, Black Friday. That's a amazing song. Everyone's Gone to the Movies is a personal favorite of mine. Chain Lightning. You know, there's a lot of good songs on here, but it's a little bit of a mess. It is one of their shorter albums, though. It could have been a little better. There's like a few moments that I can't remember from this album. Yeah, it's hard for me to explain why it's where it is. I think it might just have to do with personal preference. Like, there's nothing really too special. The special this album has for me is Black Friday and Everybody's Gone to the Movies. I much prefer the first one. And it's weird because these 2 songs aren't even related very much, other than the fact that they have a very similar name in the title. And that's about it. I do prefer Your Gold Teeth 1 from an earlier album, which I'll get into. And that is all I have to say about Katie Lied. There is nothing much to this album. It's a pretty good album. Maybe it will rise, maybe it will lower. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's move on. Pretzel Logic, their 3rd album, and this one, I think this one is their shortest album. Got one of their bigger or biggest hits, which is Ricky Don't Lose That Number. I hear that a lot on the radio, to be honest with you. And I do really like that song. It's not a song I would come back to, so to speak. I like a lot of the other songs on here more. Like, Any Major Dude would tell you is a heart-wrenching moment on the album. East St. Louis 2 is a nice little instrumental. The title track is really good blues number. Monkey in Your Soul is, in my opinion, one of their more underrated songs, like, ever. It's a short but sweet album. This is genuinely a album that I would come back to, hands down. This album's pretty darn good. It's obviously not their best because it's at number 4, but it's not something I would say is like terrible. I think they like perfected their sound somewhat. I think this album is pretty darn solid. I don't think there's anything to improve upon it, but I don't think it's... they've still done better. It's almost too short for its own good. I mean, it's short and sweet. Too short, and it's not too sweet. There's longer albums on their list that I would rather go with than this one. That's just my only nitpick, and it's not like a downgrade. It just could have been longer. Number 3, we have their 2nd album, Countdown to Ecstasy. This, in comparison to their debut, improved on all fronts as like a band. I don't think it did that well commercially, because I don't think there's that many hit songs. Showbiz Kids and My Old School, both are great songs still, especially Showbiz Kids. They actually like drop an F-bomb in that song, which is pretty unexpected. There wasn't. It's so weird that this didn't do well commercially because in my mind, All on Fronts, it's a much better album than Can't Buy a Thrill is. But is Zatva starting song, My Old School, Your Gold Teeth is on here, and that song alone, I don't know, it's pretty damn good. And I think that this album doesn't get too much praise for the last song, King of the World, which lyrically, to me, kinda sad, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I remember hearing the lyrics and I'm like, this is about a nuclear freaking fallout, isn't it? At least I think it's either that song or the Pearl of the Quarter. I'm pretty sure it's King of the World though. That song's pretty underrated. I recommend taking a listen to that one again because it's pretty upsetting, to be honest with you. The only nitpick I'd say is, again, it has to do with personal preference that is why it's lower. I don't have any like complaints for these last three albums, to be honest, other than personal preference, which is keeping them down, because like number 2 and number 1 are set in stone. This one might be set in stone, but I think a lot of this list is going to be set in stone and probably won't move too much. This album is fine where it is though. Countdown to Ecstasy, really darn good album. Let's move on to my number 2, which may be number 1 to all of you, Asia. This blew everyone away. I was talking earlier about Gaucho, where that one felt like a bit overproduced and how there was like too many cooks in the kitchen type of deal. This doesn't. This genuinely feels like they had the chemistry perfectly on this album. There's like 40 different musicians on this album, if I remember correctly. I don't know if you know this, 40 is a big number. I mean, it's not as big as 100, obviously. Still, on one album, 40 is a massive number. 40, I think Gaucho had a little bit more, but I know this one had around 40 musicians. The album before it had quite a few musicians. I do think this album isn't overrated, but it's like, I don't like it as much as the album beforehand. Every song on here is pretty darn good. Black Cow, the title track, Deacon Blues, all 3 of those songs, pretty damn good. Is good. Josie's good. I think what does keep this lower is those 2 songs on the second side. I Got the News and Home at Last. And they're not bad songs. They're actually pretty underrated, but those are the only songs off this album I don't come back to personally. Like, I can say for each one of those that, like, if I was in the mood for Black Cow, I would put that in my queue on Spotify. If I was in the mood for Asia, I would put that in queue on my Spotify. There's like never a time where I would put those in my queue, to be honest. I would only ever listen to them if they were on this album and I was listening to this album full. I think that is what brings it down. And they're not bad songs, but in comparison to the rest of the album, they're lackluster at best, which really sucks to me. And again, that's what brings us lower, which is what my number 1 album doesn't have, which is slightly lesser songs. Speaking of my number 1, by the way, it is The Royal Scam, the album that came before Asia. The Royal Scam is a very dark album, to be honest. It's probably their darkest release up to this point. They're very heavy in lyrics. A lot of songs about like killing, at least in the Don't Take Me Alive and Everything You Did. Both heavy in subject matter. Haitian Divorce is about divorce, obviously, judging by the name. The one hit off of this is Kid Charlemagne, and that, in my opinion, is their best single off anything ever. I actually don't think, personally, not a single bad song on this album. I have like sang through this entire album one time. I was in the mood for some Royal Scam, and you'd hear me sing Get Along, followed by Before the Fall, when they rode on the roll, followed by I Got a Case of Like, I could sing throughout all these songs, front to back. This album is mind-blowingly catchy, yet mind-blowingly dark sounding, that I cannot help but love it. It's hard to explain my love for this album. This is a 10 out of 10 album for me. For sure. It will always be my number 1 Steely Dan album. There is no arguing that. And that was my Steely Dan ranking. I had a lot of fun doing this ranking, because sometimes you forget how awesome some Steely Dan songs are. Like, Don't Take Me Alive, easy banger. Like, that thing bops, despite it being, I'm pretty sure, it's pretty dark in subject matter. I sometimes sing a lot of the Haitian Divorce is easily my favorite by Steely Dan. They have a lot of good lyrics. They have a lot of good solos. I think this is a discography that is near perfect, and they don't get enough praise for how near perfect their discography is. If you ignore some of the stuff they've done in the reunion, which is again not bad but lackluster in comparison, this is an easy this band to get into if you're into like yacht rock or jazz. They've done a lot of other things, but those are the main things. I do recommend this band if you've never heard. I would start with Asia, even though Royal Scam is my favorite album. It is much different in comparison to Asia. I would start with Asia because that is their most popular album. It is highly received as their best album, just not to me. Yeah, that's all. That's all I have to say. Let me know what you think about Steely Dan, and if you want more, just comment down below. What do you want? Who do you want me to rank? I'm like doing my list on Rate Your Music first and translating them to video. That's how it's gonna be right now. Think I'm gonna do the Prince ranking when that is finished. But yeah, well, I'll see you next time. Just hang in there, Bye bye.